What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Get the Bag podcast. I'm your host, Gladia Castro. I got my co-host, Tim Park.
What's up,
What is
peeps?
up, everybody? Really excited for today's episode. Glad you can join us. Before we get started, because we have a very exciting guest today, don't forget to like, subscribe, follow us on all social media channels. We're on here to drop knowledge um, and really help people get kind of getting started in their entrepreneurial journey to get the bag. So, without further ado, today's guest is a seasoned expert with 7 years in real estate financing and investment. They funded over 375 loans, specializing from fix and flip loans, investment financing, diverse mortgage opportunities, to even assisting first time home buyers, to facilitating portfolio loans for investors that bring a wealth of knowledge and a commitment to finding creative financing solutions, which is a really big thing, especially with
Yeah.
today's market. Beyond all of that, though, our guest has really focused on expanding their impact to include foreclosure bailouts and contribute over
hmm
$150 million to humanitarian projects, which is amazing. Really excited for this discussion. Let's welcome Christina Cruz to the Get the Bag podcast.
Thank you, guys.
What?
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, so glad you can join us. It's really funny because the way we kind of connected is through Instagram, which a lot of the contacts we've collaborated with has been either through TikTok, Instagram. So it really just kind of shows the power of social media. So really excited to have you on and taking the time to chat with us. I know 7 years probably to you probably feels like 20. I'd love to kind of start into what kind of got you into the real estate. What were you kind of doing before, and then we kind of shift into
hmm
those 7 years that you've been working in real estate.
Yeah, thank you for having me, of course. So back in the day, I was working Allstate Insurance, and I was top in the state for sales in the state of California, and I was absolutely killing it with Allstate. And there came a point where I just never broke a significant amount of monthly paycheck. I never made more than $10,000 a month. And I was like, man, if I am
hmm
hustling hard for Allstate, if I'm going to hustle this hard, I want to hustle this hard, but with a higher commission scale. So
Mm,
very money motivated when it comes to making my next steps, as we all are, right? We want to
Yeah.
go,
right.
want to get that bag, right? So I was like, okay, let's see. So I got into the mortgage industry, and first year just absolutely took off. I worked at big companies like Network Capital, Mr. Cooper, where there's 300 mortgage brokers on the floor. There's blaring music. People are throwing darts. Everyone's talking shit.
Mm.
And you're putting in, 20 to 30 loans a month. If not, are not good at what you do. So it's a lot of fun. And I always tell my mortgage professionals, when you're getting into the industry, start that way, because you go through, I call it the boot camp of mortgage. You get to learn
Mm,
FHA, your VA, your conventional, your bread and butter, your cookie cutter borrowers, which is the majority of them out there. You get to learn those inside and out. After you're done working at companies like that, you are going to know just about everything that you need to know about getting a loan from beginning to end.
Right.
Um, and then, I decided that I didn't want to work for another corporation and be micromanaged, and decided that I wanted to learn about the other side of the market. And it comes to find out the other side of the market is a lot more interesting. Get
right.
away from the bread and butter. I used to think, oh, you can't do, a P&L program, or you can't do based off of equity. I didn't know that those loan programs existed. And
hmm
as I got into the broker sector, I actually learned a lot more about foreclosure, and that a lot of people were in foreclosure. And when I was working at Mr. Cooper, all of these people that I had put into forbearance programs were not qualifying for the loan modification. And now these people
Mm,
have not made a payment for 2 to 3 years and have $100,000 in compound interest that they have not been able to refinance out of. And now they have two options. You don't qualify for a loan modification at a 5% interest rate, or a 6 or a 7, because the rates did increase and it is still on those rates.
Right.
$100,000 up front. Now we got a bunch of people who I put into these programs who can't refinance out of it. So it kind of into a passion to figure out financing and how to get people into or back into a loan that they can afford. It's a process, but I've definitely dabbled in everything investor related, because that door of helping people in foreclosures opened up a door of helping my investors be able to get into these deals that are off market deals that are with clients who are in foreclosures who, all the time your goal is to help them save their, and I tell my all the time, I want to make a deal with you and I want to be able to provide you these leads, but at the end of the day I work for my client, and the goal is, so the problem is that we have a lot of people who are trying to take advantage of these people because have somebody who is there to say, hey, this is what you should do. Hey, don't let these people tell you that you're not going to be able to do X, Y, and you give your house for free. These people put in positions where they can't walk away and they can't build. So because these borrowers are in their primary residence, you have to go around TRID. And TRID guidelines, for anybody who doesn't know, the mortgage guidelines that you have to go based off of rates. You can't charge too many points. Basically, it's there to protect the borrower so that they're not getting taken advantage of. And so it's a lot harder to primary foreclosure bailout than it is an investment property. An investment property, you can say the rental income is going to cover your monthly payment. So we can do that. The investors will say, okay, you're going to have a lease agreement that shows that you can make the mortgage payment. Cool. But when it's their home that they're living in, that's when it becomes a lot harder. So though we try very, very hard, a lot of the times you can't pull everybody out of a hole, and you have to be there to facilitate the sale, be able to make it so that they can walk away with something and they're not being taken advantage of, and the investors are able to make a profit on it. So it has opened a lot of doors for me, and a lot of doors that have really brought out extreme creative financing. And I'm starting to get good at it. It's definitely a lot of fun.
That's what's up.
Everyone. I feel like creative financing has been the buzzword in the last probably 2 years, especially since COVID. And that's kind of around the time Tim and I really started. You hear, especially in the real estate space, like your Pace Morbies, which really made subject to and seller finance really popular. But even then, if you really learn those skills or how to utilize that, you'd be really well off now in the market like this, where interest rates are really high. And I think it's really cool that I think of many people, maybe in any position, they start in something. You really kind of you had the vision to look past what your existing situation was and be like, there's something more than that. I want to do more with what the knowledge that I have and help as many people. And you probably hit a ceiling, right? Where you were at, where you got started, and you're like, it's probably time to pivot. Whereas maybe some people would have continued. And I'm sure that many people that probably are still in the same position, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I think where really kind of helps, make the difference between in entrepreneurship, especially, is like those people that are willing to take the extra step.
Well, the biggest thing is, as soon as you get into the broker world, and as long as you have good teams around you, because I know a lot of brokers still only do bread and butter loans. They don't know about all the ins and out and all the weird and private money and hard money, just equity-based loans. And I mean, business and personal loans. If somebody can't get a down payment, you better believe I'm gonna have that thing funded in 7 days. That's gonna be a person already factored into your debt to income ratio. There's so to go about it, but you don't learn those things when you stay at these companies. You don't learn those things when you get into a brokerage that doesn't teach you or even have the insight. A lot of these people and a lot of these just brokers and institutions, they don't have that those tools around them, or they're not seeking for more, and so it's been, and I have a great team around me. And our goal and our motto at our brokerage is we don't want to turn anybody down. So
Yeah.
if they're away, we will.
She
Yeah, I
might have
think
got a
I
phone
love
call.
that. Yeah, I think that's what I love when we can keep rolling until she comes
Yeah,
back. But I
absolutely.
think that's really great is creating programs for everyone, because I think is we need people like Christina who have the knowledge and are willing to,
There
be
we go.
flexible too. Yeah, we got
Hmm.
you back. We're like, figure
Sorry.
Yeah, got you back.
you got a call coming in or something.
Yeah.
But we were just saying how it's really great. Sometimes it takes one person or a company or whatever to be willing to work with the population, because not many are. There's more restrictions, right, when it comes to borrowers or whatnot, and the clients that come in. But we need people like you that have that knowledge to pass that on, because people don't even try because either they lack the knowledge, or the person that they're putting their trust in isn't doing them a favor. And especially people in the brown and black communities, especially,
Hmm.
I think we just weren't raised with that knowledge. So we're just kind of navigating, thinking there's only one way, one avenue to buy a home, or even like exploring investment opportunities. It wasn't even thought of, right?
Hmm.
So I think that's what's really great about our um just at the point that we're in, our generation, where we learned, right, from our parents and other family members to really create those opportunities.
Yeah, I felt, and I totally play on that. A lot of our community, we're learned to accept no, right? Our mom tells us no, that's it, right?
Right.
So, if someone says you don't qualify for the loan, okay, well, I
Right.
try. But the truth of the matter is, and I have a lot of my mortgage professionals, the majority of my business comes from my mortgage professionals who can't get loans done and they send them to me. So I
Hmm.
get the loan done.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of, and I just had a conversation with one of my girlfriends, and she was like, man, it's just real hard right now. I just feel like there's not a lot of business. I don't know what I'm going to do. And last year, I'll tell you, last quarter of the year, if anybody in the industry was saying that it was peaches and cream, they were lying. Last
Hmm.
rough. But there's so much opportunity in our market right now. This is
Yeah.
the time where we stray away. Nobody's going to refinance out of a 2.99. And if they do, it's going to be for a good reason. And it's going to be few and far between. The only
Right.
Right.
why people make a move is because they want it. And
Or
all of our
have to.
people for the 2.99s, all of our wants people are out of the market, or they
Hmm.
need. So now we
Hmm.
people with needs. We don't have our wanters, dreamers, lovers who, are excited about something and buy. We have the people who need to because they're pained, because they have some scenario or situation that they have to refinance or purchase or do whatever it is. So now we need to go out there, and their transactions are harder, but
Hmm.
I mean, it's a little more fun, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
You're all in
And
the,
that's
it ain't a thing.
yeah.
it, it's the need. So I just tell my friends, you're not tapping into, you're trying to still get the low hanging fruit. Whereas right now we need to go climb the acorn tree and start, throwing down acorns for each other and helping each other out. Because there's
Absolutely.
a lot of people out there, my self-employed borrowers, my um just everyone, foreclosure
Yeah.
clients, those are the people who, and there's a lot of programs opening up for those people that you have to dig for, but they're open, that are coming out, and we need to take advantage while they're here.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that's why you've done, over 375 loans, because, you find solutions, and that's kind of what Gladia and I do in regards to, for sellers and stuff, is not having just one kind of solution. We have a variety of things in our toolbox, just like you, when it comes to on the lending side. And I think that's very important, because I mean, we can come to you to a deal, and then you could say is like, we can do X, Y, and Z on this. And then we can say, well, how about this? And we can collaborate. And that's what the biggest thing is, that, we've brought deals to you before, and, we're able to kind of collaborate and try to find a solution for sure. because some of these deals aren't cookie cutter. There are always some kind of issues, whether it be title, whether it be they have an existing loan on it. What's the solution for that? But so the kind of what I guess I want to ask you is like, what's a challenging case to you in regards to maybe on the private sector or on the investment side? Because we have a lot of audience members that are investors or wholesalers or people in that nature. So if you can walk us through maybe a challenging case or deal that you had that
You
you can
made
talk about
happen.
today. Yeah, you made happen. Yeah.
I feel like a lot of the deals that have been like Hail Mary deals. Halfway through, I've been questioning my sanity and if I was cut out to do these deals, but they've made it through the finish line. The last one that I had was pretty interesting. It was a purchase, just a regular purchase. I had an investor. She's done some fix and flip. She has a storage unit um, business, and she had a lot of money in a lot of different places. And she wanted and could only put 10% down on a purchase.
Mm,
And that makes it a little bit harder for the purchase amount that we were doing. So it was a whole lot of just moving a lot of money back into the places that needed to be put and just kind of advising her, hey, we're going to pull it out from this account, which was a trust account. And you need to make
Mm.
sure that it says, that you're not touching this money. You're just being able to advise them on how to do it when they have so much going on. Because anytime that you present a document in front of an underwriter, it it requires 10 more documents. And so
mm-hmm,
Right, right.
what we were dealing with on her is every time she submitted what was asked for, we had another list of conditions. And for this property specifically, we were in escrow for over 2 months. And I
wow.
Mm.
was like, that's it. This is never going to happen. Every time we got back into underwriting, another big issue came up, whereas some of her income was from a family member. So it was a
Mm-hmm,
family business that was paying her, which is a whole different loan program. So it was just thing after thing after thing. But what I would tell my investors is don't move your money around first and foremost, and just kind of make sure that everything has a paper trail, because the second that you lose the trail, the underwriters won't allow you to use that
mm-hmm.
Right.
on a lot of those purchases. But I mean, even then, I'm working on a $10 million loan right now that's making me want to cry. This gentleman has it's a foreclosure bailout. It is a
Mm,
private loan. The value of the property is very questionable, and he is at a point where he wants a little bit of extra money so that he can do a couple of things with his copyright and patents. But this gentleman has this beautiful home in Malibu, and we have been going through every hoop and hurdle. He doesn't have any money, no liquid whatsoever. He wants cash out. What we're going
mm,
to do is pull extra cash out of the home so it can
Mhm.
pay for his reserves. That way,
mm-hmm,
it can show that he has reserves. And he also has a couple of open litigations that are uh, hard for um, a lot of companies to be able to get behind to
mm-hmm,
loan.
Mm.
So the regular companies that we had that will do the foreclosure bailouts, they've all seen the loan. They all said no. I mean, I've probably gotten about 40 or 50 no's from this guy and a lot of people that have already seen the loan.
no,
And
really.
up going to a private money lender, a very specific man who has his own money, and he wouldn't do it. He gave it to another buddy of his who won't do it, who gave it to another buddy of his who's going to do the loan, and we are just about to have docs out. So that one has also been another 2 month struggle, but we've been able to get it done.
Dang.
Yeah, and I think that falls into your network too, and that's
Yeah.
something I want to touch upon as in the 7 years, because especially being a mortgage broker or in real estate in general, like your network is like, as corny as I say, your network is your net worth. Like
Yeah.
it's really knowing people who know people. Tell us about how that process has, um, I guess, like how you've evolved from for year one to where you're at and like creating those relationships. Obviously, I'm sure you encounter a lot of people, but scaling to high level people where you're talking $10 million deals. Like it doesn't happen overnight.
No, it doesn't. And the biggest, I guess, for somebody like myself, and I'm sure for like you guys, when you start one, you're already looking for those people. And so you're on yourself because you're like, oh, I
Mhm.
this, because you've seen a little bit of it, or you've heard about it, or you have a friend who's done it. And so you know it's there, but you don't know how to get there
You're right.
necessarily, right? So it just is, and I will say this a million times over, the way that we're talking now, all because of a social media,
Mhm.
Right.
reaching out. I connect with people on social media consistently. And I think it's the best thing that you can do. I think
Mhm.
being on social media, interacting on social media, talking to people, commenting on posts, doing whatever you can, I think it's huge. And I think one of the biggest things that a lot of people really need to like rethink is we have this stigma in the real estate industry. A lot of real estate agents and a lot of brokers, they think they're really too good. You know,
Mm,
they're
right.
just
Mhm.
full of themselves. And so they're like, oh, like my posts, like my things, but they don't want to follow you back and they don't want to engage with you.
Mhm.
And the people who are down to earth and who are really making moves and really hustling and pushing, I'm not going to want to do business and bring business over to you if you don't want to engage and
Mhm.
don't want to see me win.
Right.
I'm here to see you win and I want you to see me win. If you're too good for that, then you're
Right.
on the foot on that kind of business. So when you find the people like yourself and like him where you connect and try and do business together, the biggest thing is doing as many deals as you possibly can. Try not to say no to anything. Don't shoot anything in the foot until you've looked at everything. And
Right.
the more you do that, the more conversations you have, the more times you go out to eat, and you do just as much as is when you're going to start talking to people. But I think the biggest thing you can do is don't think don't get too full of yourself. I think that's what a lot
Mhm.
start to do. They think they're cool and they start closing off conversations because they put themselves on a pedestal. And
Mhm.
Right.
we're all people. We all got kids. I'm sitting in my car right now because my son's in a robotics tournament. Like we got
Right.
lots, and our goal is to boost each other up. And if you just keep that mentality, those people will start coming to you. You'll
Yeah. I love that. I mean, I think that is an important aspect. I know we're big on social media as well, and we try to interact with people like yourselves and other investors as well too. So I think just broadening your network and knowing how to leverage social media or just any kind of like even on the professional level of LinkedIn and reaching out to people and other investors
Right.
and wholesalers is just a critical part of that. And you expand not just your network but your knowledge too, because people start sharing what they know. And just like you shared a wealth when we had a conversation. I'm just like, okay, she's on the same page as we are. Let's see if we can do some deals together, right? So and then
And
you
I
get
think that
educated
naturally
us.
happens. That
Yeah.
naturally happens if you resonate. People do business with people they like or at
Hmm.
least enjoy. Because like you said, Christina, like there's so many people who I've reached out to and they're like, yeah, whatever. And they just kind of come off that way. And I know it's LA. I know how it is. Like, SoCal people. I'm from the Bay Area. So I have a little, although I love living down in LA, but I know how it is where people have this like, head bigger than whatever they think they're too big for anything, and that also tells me, oh, right away I'm like, okay, well, I just dodged a bullet. I wouldn't want to work with someone like that anyways. So I think as you kind of start creating these relationships eventually, like the way we see with these conversations that we bring guests on the podcast, I'm like, we're going to do deals together one way
Hmm.
or another because we're able to resonate. And I think people really underestimate that when networking, is they just think like they're always looking out for themselves and not with for the other person. And I think the people who I see doing big money are never have a problem sharing their knowledge because they're
Hmm.
not insecure, they're not scared, to share the wealth, because there's plenty, at the end of the day, there's plenty of money. Although,
100%.
United States can be a small, country compared to like whatever, but there's enough money for all of us. And I think people just are too small minded. I don't know what it is, but I think that's why just working with the people that you enjoy your time with, eventually, you're going to start seeing money at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, the best thing you can do is call over. Hey, Tim, this is the scenario that I have. This is what's going on. What do you think? What would you do? What are,
Mm-hmm.
this is what I'm thinking of. Do you have any investors? Do you have anything? And as long as you can call, collaborate, talk a little shit, laugh a little bit and get back to business, figure out what's going on. I think that's the best thing that you can do. The second that, just like you said, your head is bigger than your feet. And you know that's the moment that it's going to shoot you in the foot for sure. You got to be able to just chit chat, call, see how people are doing, and figure out if they have any solutions for your scenario. And a lot of people too right now, you need to be able to say, hey, I can't find a solution, let's work together, we'll split a commission on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do a broker. And that's the number one way, I think, is something versus nothing. A lot of people are being really greedy in this market.
Yeah.
It needs to go. I can't stand that, but it's huge right now in the market.
Mm-hmm.
Split the commission, figure it out together, create a bond, and do it over and over and over and over again, because you can either do it one time on your own or you can do it 20 times with somebody else.
Absolutely. That's a bar.
Yep. Yeah, that's something we've talked about a lot. We're on the wholesaling or realtor side or broker side. Like, there's greed on all
Mm-hmm.
levels, and we always talk about, like, I don't care how much I make, especially if it's like the first deal where it's like, hey, you're kind of like dating, right? Like, let's get to know each other.
Mm-hmm.
How are we going to work? And if we have to give up a little bit, and then but that means we're going to close 100 more deals. Like, of course I would take, I would split the fee and then let's make more together later. So I completely agree in having these conversations with brokers or realtors, and where they don't fudge, or like, I'm not sharing my fee. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, well, that also says a lot about people's characters, and they may have their reason, and that's completely fine. But like I said, there's plenty of money, and it's all the long game at the end of the day. I mean, you've been in this business 7 years, which again probably feels much, and you want to work another 7 years, another 20, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
whether you're still in the same mortgage industry, or you venture off to more of the investment side, which I know that's something you're also looking is buying and holding on to some on your own. So talk to us too about what that transition has been like for you, kind of
Mm-hmm.
having that knowledge, because a lot of things too, I with a lot of realtors and wholesalers, is they're such in the process of making their active money and commission or whatnot, but they don't look as an investor as well and investing in property. So how has that been like for you?
So I think it's a great question, actually. And I was talking to my sister about this a lot too, because my foster father, right? He had a serious injury and he came on a lot of money. And we were like, well, what are we going to do with that money? And the biggest thing, I was like, we got to buy property, fix and flip. Let's put it into, investments. What are we going to do? So he purchased another property. He's looking to get property. But the thing is, as soon as we make a commission, we have to be careful with our money, because the thing about us is we're all a personality type. One, we love we love adrenaline, right? We're all adrenaline sales.
Right. It's true.
We're all gamblers, right? So, and I don't mean we're going to go to the casino and gamble. No, but I mean, when we lose, we lose. And when we win big. And so we're addicted to that kind of mentality of pushing and pushing. And yes, we just got to win. Yes, we just got to win. But at the end of the year, taxes come up and we have to shovel off a lot of those wins, right? When it comes to tax. People forget in a commission-based pay that it comes to bite you at the end. So the biggest thing that we can do is track our money wisely, be careful with our wins, don't go crazy, because I'll tell you, a lot of our foreclosures that are coming up, foreclosures are on the rise, by the way. A lot of
Mm.
people tell you the market is not going to crash. All of these things aren't happening. I don't agree. If you ask me, I talk to people in foreclosures every single day. Those
Yeah.
are the amount of loans that I deal with and clients that I'm referred. And I think after this year that we're doing our taxes, a lot of the people who were in the sales industry like us,
Hmm.
who relied on interest rates, so car salespeople, real estate agents, mortgage professionals, all of those people, especially if they got into the industry in the last couple of years, they had a surplus of money and they bought a lot of fun things and now they can't make those payments. Car loans are in the most default that they have been in years, 20 years.
Right.
Right now we
Yeah.
got foreclosures are definitely on the rise. They're up 35% right now. So I mean, it's going to be all the people in our industry who could not or not able to afford what they were purchasing then, who need to really be careful about the way that they manage their money going forward, because that's going to be the biggest thing that I tell all my clients and all of my friends and my family, just and my people who are in the industry like me and you, just to hold on a little tighter to your cash right now, because you you got to be careful. Nobody knows where the market is going this year, and if you think the feds
Hmm.
are going to do a six rate drops, then I don't think you've been in the industry long enough to be disappointed by them.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
No, it is facts. It's like I know that I just read that some of the major tech companies are, cutting jobs and stuff. And I was on LinkedIn, and a couple of the people that are in tech just got laid off too. So you just don't know what's going to happen in your life too. And you're getting that new car, you're buying all these other things, and um, it's not just the sales, it's like tech, hospitality, all these other
Well,
jobs.
AI
This
is
is not
just
your, yeah,
revolutionizing the workforce too. So, at the end of
100%.
the day, people are taking profits over anything. So if it could save them money, I mean, they're going to go for it.
Yeah, and people are being more greedy than ever. And it is, I will tell all word of caution for all of my people in all of the industries, especially in mortgage, real estate, in wholesaling, do non disclosure agreements, because what's
Mm-hmm.
happening a lot right now is we need NDAs signed, because you are having
Mm,
coming in and they are swooping on deals. And we're for me and you, we want to work together. We want to build relationships. We want to, set ourselves up so we can do this 20, 30 times, right? There are
Yeah.
people, there are a lot of sharks in the water right now. And I don't mean sharks like good salespeople. I mean sharks like people going for blood. So just
Mm.
that everybody's crossing their T's, dotting their I's, and know who you're working with, because it is getting a little messy out there too.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, yeah, that's a really good point because, you have to protect yourself and protect your business. And people, whether it's in a realtor, a wholesaler, another lending broker or whatever, there's always somebody that's going to be that shark that crosses the line, or does something shady. You just know in your business that what's moral to you, and is important, right? And always doing good business, as I always preach, is good business, right, is very
Great.
important.
We want to have lifelong friends with this. We want to have people that we're working with, relationships that are going to last forever. But the only way you can do that is to create a fun friendship with the people that you're working with. You want to be able to
Hmm.
and oh, I'm sweating. The kids are running around and they're driving me nuts. Let me get outside so we can talk.
right.
Relationships with people. It's huge.
All right. I know, absolutely. And I know we're approaching the end here, but I kind of want to hear out like what do you what's kind of next for you?
Hmm.
You have a lot going on. Is it something just kind of continually to build and scale your team where you're at, or what's kind of the next kind of ventures for Christina?
So we are opening a branch. So yes, if you are looking for
Yes.
somebody who wants to I'm at the point where I'm ready to teach people what I know.
Mm.
I feel
Love
like
it.
good information. I feel like I know how to find solutions. And I feel like a lot more people could benefit from the knowledge that I have. So I'm ready. We're opening a branch. We're expanding the team. We're, bringing leads in. We're getting ready to do a full revamp over here. So it's getting exciting. A lot more commercial is going down. A lot more ground up fix and flips and things of that nature. So just really, we're just expanding. We just want to be able to bring more people on. We want people with our same values. We want people with our same ethics, work ethic, and we want people who are ready to learn to navigate a market that sucks, quite frankly.
Right. How long do you think it'll suck for?
Oh, you know what though? This is a regular market. We're back to normal, right? I mean, good the last couple of years, and now it's just back to figuring out where we can turn into diamonds, right? Because we all that's when we turn into diamonds. So the goal is just to really get really good with the creative financing. And I will say, though, I do want to help you find your dream home. It is really fun to deal with investors and getting into the fix and the flips and the commercial and the ground up constructions. Everything is about numbers. It either works or it doesn't. And so very straightforward. So that's a little bit more of the market that I lean towards in general, is, dealing with foreclosures, helping my investors, and then with what fun project that I can come up with, I'm there for it.
Yeah. I feel like we're on the fun side of real estate. I always say that we're on the fun side of real estate because there's always a challenge. There's always something that comes up, and we have to be
use your brain.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
A lot of really cool programs that are, and just for a quick example, because I know we're running out of time here, but for self-employed borrowers right now, there's a 3.5% P&L. You don't need any tax returns. All you need is your CPA to write you a P&L for the last 2 years, so 22, 23, and a year to date, and you can put 3.5% down. You're getting into an FHA loan.
Wow.
Borrower, you don't need tax returns. That's absolutely unheard of.
That's huge.
Wow. And this is for residential or commercial?
This is for a primary residence. So this
Oh, wow.
All my realtors, all, my friends like you guys who have all this money and you don't want to pay your taxes, because why would we? Right?
Right.
Right. Put it in the house. Yeah.
We're going to be self-employed. We're going to take advantage of it. Right? So this is for you to still get a 3.5% down into a primary residence. I'm not sure how the program will last, but there's a lot of little programs like this that are popping up that this is the fun time. When the market goes into a dip, all these fun programs come out, and it's time for us to
Absolutely. Well, Christina, it's been such a pleasure. So if anybody's an investor or wants to, get more information on processing loan, how can we reach you?
You can call me at my cell. I want everyone to have my cell phone number.
Let's blow up Christina's number.
Right?
Let's go.
1-337-8390. You can email me at Christina@myflexnow.com. Follow me on Instagram, Red Bottom Broker, and just hit me up. I'm here for a conversation. I have a lot of people who call me just to chit chat it up and kind of get their mind straight and figure out which direction they want to go. And in a year from now, we'll get there.
Love it.
Love it. Christina, it's been such a pleasure chatting. Like I said, I know we have a deal coming at some point. It's coming. But yeah, if there's anything, looking forward to collaborating more this year. But make sure for you guys listening, hit up Christina at Red Bottom Broker on IG. She just threw her number out, so make sure you hit her line as well. We want to get her super, super busy, especially with her branch open up. Thank you so much, Christina. Everyone else, have a great rest of your day, and we'll chat with you guys next time.
Yep. Peace.
Thank you.